It was the great fault of Diana's indulgence. Harry's mental condition worsens after being abused by Meghan. Hello, and a very warm welcome back to our Kate Middleton and the Queen News YouTube channel. Well, a few hours ago, a body language expert officially debunked Harry's behavior. He said Harry seems to be suffering from a serious mental illness and it is growing. The expert went on to say Harry does the weird nose snorting sound a lot. I don't know how to describe it, but it sounded like he had something blocking his nasal passage, and he was constantly trying to clear it by snorting air out. He also talked with a bit of stuck up air passage sound and does the chin inward gesture when he was awkward. And because he's apparently more of a follower than a leader, which in itself isn't a negative, he acted positive while under Catherine's influence, and then bitterly negative under Meghan's influence. Catherine elevated him, and I think Meghan stoked his bitter negativity. The expert added, Diana was concerned about him when he was little, and at the least, he seemed to have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder when in public as a youngster. Plus, even as a little one, he lacked empathy and was aggressive. He wasn't academically. He showed no flair for anything, really. The issue of his art master saying he cheated was dealt with, but does Harry seem in the least bit artistic to anyone? On the spectrum, perhaps, but he is a very basic sort of man. He would never have gotten into Sandhurst academically if he hadn't been royal family, and his behavior has left a lot to be desired. The happiest he ever seemed was either with Catherine and William or when he was alone in Africa. I read what I've typed and I can feel so sad for him, but his behavior over the last few years is so appalling it takes away any pity for him and he has worse to come. Now, this may not be a very popular opinion, but even though Diana really loves those boys, she should have set a better example for them. I mean, throwing herself down a flight of stairs probably did not look great to them. She was her own kind of self-absorbed, in my opinion, and she dragged them all over the place while she was chasing after her flavor of the month. Those boys really should have been staying at home more often. If she had just stayed at home and been there for them, then maybe she would still be alive. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. But no, she needed to live it up with her wealthy foreign boyfriend. Now, William met Catherine and the Middleton family. People used to say bad things about the Middletons, but they have proved themselves to be amazing, loving parents who set good, firm boundaries, and who are also very careful not to do anything to humiliate the royal family. Prince William actually spent a great deal of time with them. He spent time in a loving, normal family instead of one that was filled with histrionics and infighting. So I think that explains why Harry has an idea of what a more ideal family looks like. And that's why he has turned out with a sense of responsibility, integrity, and such a sense of beauty, too. He is so different from Harry. Harry has just bumbled along his entire life. He does not understand what a loving, normal family looks like. Diana always talked about Harry having a really bad temper and said that he was jealous of anybody who went close to her. Even though she loved those boys, I don't think that she was necessarily a good mother. I think she tried her best, but I think she just had her own problems. See, she would use William as a confidant, and that was so inappropriate. He was just a child. And she let Harry act so badly and then would laugh at his misbehavior. I've heard that whenever Harry was at Sandringham for a weekend, people were told to keep any pets indoors because Harry would go after them and kill them. He would shout at people, he would abuse gamekeepers and anybody who tried to stop him. There is something seriously wrong with him. And it's not healthy that Diana made her young son William her confidant, which she did admit to several biographers. She treated him like an adult, and he was just a child. She expected him to comfort her in her troubles with his father, probably because William as a child was very responsible. But Harry was a lot more like Diana. And so she would just let him get away with whatever, with losing his temper. She didn't expect him to learn to control himself. I think that what Harry is doing to William is especially awful. He knows that William has this sense of responsibility for other people. So when Harry or Meghan go after Catherine or William's children or other members of the family, he knows what he's doing. Clearly, Harry has grown up with very little concern for other people. They don't care about the people who they say horrible things about. And it seems like their truth is always involving some kind of attack or dig at other people. So maybe if Diana had treated Harry with a little more thoughtful discipline, instead of just as a playmate or somebody she enjoyed watching stick his tongue out at photographers, then maybe Harry could have grown up to be a decent, compassionate human being. Now, Diana also came from a broken home, and she was traumatized by that. I think Diana was also a little bit immature, and it could be that she was never really cut out to be a normal mother. I think that's why she used poor Prince William as a confidant, when instead she should have treated him as her beloved child. And even though we can see that Harry has a lot wrong with him, he doesn't seem to see it. He has such an overinflated opinion of himself, and I guess that was fueled by his feuding parents and also the palace lackeys. It is bizarre the way in which some people who are not very smart have absolutely no self awareness. And if Harry's sick right now, well, he's sick because he's made himself that way. His mother may have been borderline, like borderline personality disorder, and his father, I guess, was kind of cold and distant at times, which may have affected his attachment. And this could actually induce trauma symptoms or personality disorders in Harry. Most aggressors out there are living out their childhood trauma and they're trying to alter the outcome. So basically, hurt people do hurt people. Now, if Harry was a bully, that means he was bullied himself at some point in time, perhaps by William, but I'm sorry, that is normal stuff that occurs between brothers, and most of us get over it. More than likely, it's a result of Harry not getting his needs met when he was a baby. Maybe there was a caregiver who was emotionally unavailable or inconsistent. I don't think that anybody was deliberately cruel to him, though. And please don't misunderstand why I'm saying all of this. I am not trying to make excuses for Harry. Now, I do think that Harry suffered from some trauma when he was growing up. The truth is, most of us do. But anyway, the incidents that Harry recalled in that book are petty, and to the rest of us, they seem completely absurd. Why is he talking about this stuff? I mean, Harry would not ever want to consider that his mother was no angel, but I have worked with kids who have been removed from their parents and actually do not like their foster families because they feel guilty for believing this new home is a lot better. They can't handle their feelings that they like the foster care more. And Harry never really got to that point as a teenager where his mother's flaws became obvious to him. So in his mind, she will forever be perfect. And he's never going to be able to fully heal until he can face the fact that no one's mother is perfect. And the fact is, Harry was also damaged by her own trauma. The generational trauma that Harry has talked about does not only affect his father's side of the family. And personally, I am so sick of Harry still using the death of his mother as a crutch and as an excuse for his bad behavior. I mean, seriously, Harry has never grown up. I think he's still a 13-year-old boy. And I am not trying to downplay the pain that he felt when he lost his mother. But the truth of the matter is that there are millions and millions of people out there who have lost their mothers, but somehow they manage to still meet their responsibilities in life and they still hold themselves accountable for the decisions they make as adults. I mean, seriously, how much longer does he plan to continue harping on and beating that same old drum that his mother passed away? It's not fair for him to use the death of somebody as a reason for his idiotic behavior. At the same time, he's intentionally hurting the people closest to him, and he believes that's a good reason to do so? How about his older brother? This is what really shows Harry as a very selfish person. He is so self absorbed. And seriously, what about William? Does Harry think that he didn't also lose his mother? Does Harry believe that he was the only child somehow? We don't see William going around using that as an excuse to do all kinds of horrible things. Instead, William has demonstrated so much maturity. He has a real sense of duty, and also let's remember the fact that William does not go around blaming everything on somebody else. I won't deny that Harry probably still feels a lot of pain because his mother is not around, but still, that is no excuse for this bad behavior we have seen from him. And at some point, Harry needs to understand that asking everybody to feel sorry for him because he lost his mother is not helping him. Pity is not something that's going to make him feel stronger. See, Harry is addicted to sympathy from other people now, and that just keeps him whining like an infant. I cannot believe that an adult man would whine about that account of that little fight that he had with his older brother. I mean, come on, the broken dog dish, that was just laughable. The broken necklace, too. And also the call to his psychologist or whoever it is he complains to professionally. Why did he think that was going to make him look good?